Hey, thanks for clicking on this video. So, as the title says, we're going to go over some of your questions about intermittent fasting. So, I've got a list of questions here, and I'm just going to go through them one by one. We'll talk a little bit about it. First off, one of the reasons why I'm, you know, someone who can talk about intermittent fasting. I've been intermittent fasting for about 10 months now. I have lost over 160 pounds in those 10 months. So I've experimented a lot with different time frames and all that. I'm also the creator of Fasting Dice. So definitely know quite a bit about fasting. I also recently spoke at a doctor's conference where I was asked to present intermittent fasting and some of the benefits and how it works so that doctors could share that with their patients. So I feel a little bit, somewhat as an authority on being able to speak about this.
Respect my authority!
So let's get with the first question. Oh, by the way, my name is Daniel. Nice to meet you. So, first question is, why do some people lose weight faster than others? It's a big question. Comes up a lot. We often it's human nature, right? We compare ourselves to others, and we will see somebody who loses weight at a much faster rate than what we are, and sometimes it even seems like it's going easier for them. But a couple things that are a factor in this. Number one, it sucks, but genetics, right? Some people just they have that aptitude to lose the weight faster, and they do it. Just like there are some people who seems like they can eat whatever they want and they don't gain weight. So it's just genetics. So it sucks. We all have our issues. That's one of them. Another one too is honestly they might be fasting longer than what you think, or something along those lines. And typically, the longer you fast, the more weight you will lose. But that's not an excuse to just like go and fast for days and days and days on end. Especially if you're not used to it, that's going to be really rough. It could be detrimental to your health. So don't do that. Talk to a doctor. Your healthcare professional can definitely advise you on good fasting windows for you. So those are a couple of the basic reasons why somebody might be losing weight. Also, it could be diet, right? So once they do eat, what are they eating? Are they eating nutritious foods? Are they staying away from processed foods, junk foods, things like that? That is going to help. Also, low carb, really helpful. I mean, even in my 600-pound life, that the doctor in that show constantly tells people to eat low carb.
And the food that they eat, I tell them that should be around 400 calorie. So this is only protein and vegetable.
Because it does work. So, can I have sweeteners while fasting? This is kind of an iffy topic. Here's the thing. There are rules and they're more like guidelines for fasting, right? So the best fast is the fast that you can stick to. So if you need to have a little bit of stevia in your coffee or a little bit of xylitol in your tea, to kind of like make it so that you can keep fasting, I would go ahead and do that. Don't put mountains of it, just small amount to make it palatable. But the issue is there was a recent study. They looked at aspartame and other artificial sweeteners, and they found that artificial sweeteners do make it more difficult to lose weight, because what it'll do is it'll increase the intensity of the hunger hormone. So while you're thinking you're doing this to help fast, those artificial sweeteners will make it harder to stick to your fast, and you'll feel hungrier. So something to keep in mind. So moderate amounts, you should be okay. But too much, don't get Diet Cokes, don't get Gatorade Zeros or sports drink Zeros. Those have those artificial sweeteners and make it much harder to fast. What should I eat during my eating window? The great thing about fasting is it really is very flexible. to your diet. So if you want to eat vegan, it'll work. If you want to eat low carb, it'll work. If you want to eat no carb, it'll work. If you want to eat, just healthy foods and really don't care so much about the carb count, it'll work. As long as you do portion control, it's not magic, right? Like it'll help, but it's not magic. You do have to. I mean, there is still some element of discipline to it.
Oh, come on. Stop whining. You kids are soft. You lack discipline.
So you've got to keep that in mind. So what should you eat? I would stick to whole foods, healthy foods, organic if you can do it, nutritious foods, definitely. And that will greatly help you. That will greatly help you. Stay away from fried, air fried. I haven't experimented with that too much myself, so I don't know too much about it, but I hear good things. So and experiment a little bit. Try something, see how you do with it while fasting, and if you're still losing weight, then it sounds like you can get away with it. If it's not working, then you may have to yank that.
But out here in the U.S. of A., buddy, we got something called the 4 basic food groups.
Personally, I love rice. I could eat rice every day, and I got to stay away from it while I'm doing this. I'll every now and then I'll have a rice bowl, and satisfies that craving, but can't do it all the time. How to establish satiety while fasting. This is rough, right? Because I see a lot of YouTube and TikTok gurus who talk about how, I feel perfectly fine while fasting. Look, man, I've been doing this for 10 months. I get hungry.
Lay off me, I'm starving!
I get hungry, like right now I'm a little bit hungry and I'm fasting. It happens. The thing about it is you learn how to handle it and you learn how to control it. You also learn that it's not the end of the world if you're a little bit hungry. It's okay. The other thing too is the longer you fast, the more often you fast, the intensity of that hunger drive really drops down. So that's the big thing. So there are some people who will have a little bit of like MCT oil or just a little bit of coconut oil to help them while they're fasting. It helps them feel just like a little bit of something is in there. That works. I know technically it breaks the fast, but because of the way it's processed in your body, it's not so bad. So that's something to think about if you're really struggling and you want to do something. That might help. Next question: how is intermittent fasting different than starvation? So the way I've always heard it explained is intermittent fasting is you are going without food deliberately. Whereas starvation, you are not. There is just no food available. That is one way to look at it. The other thing to look at it is I would say that starvation really is once your fat deposits have been completely depleted, then the body is eating itself literally. Whereas fasting, got a little bit of the chub and we're chipping away at that. I've explained it to friends as this is like, when I'm fasting, I'm not eating, but my body is eating. It's eating away at the fat because the fat is stored energy. It's stored food.
Tina, eat. Eat the food. Eat the food!
So it's going into that cupboard and raiding it. So I'm not eating, but my body is. That's how I explain it to people. All right, so the next question is, how should I start? I guess they mean fasting, because start a car, you turn a key, right? I'm just kidding. How to start? So this is a tough one, right? Because everybody's different. If you've never, ever fasted before, I would only start half a day, 12-hour window. Fast for 12 hours, eat for 12 hours. And doesn't mean like it's a buffet for 12 hours, okay? It means you have a 12-hour window of opportunity to eat. So in that 12 hours, you would maybe have 3 meals, sensible, right? Maybe 2 snacks, and that's it. Don't graze your way through the day. Just small. You have set points that you eat, and that's it. Now, once you get used to that, maybe knock off an hour or two, and as you knock off, don't maintain your meal and snack account. Like, drop them off as you go. So, like, let's say you get down to 6 hours. 6 hours, maybe 2 meals and a snack, or maybe just 2 meals, something like that. You just chip away at it as you get used to it, and give yourself, if it takes a week to get used to it, it takes a week. If it takes 3 weeks to get used to it, it takes 3 weeks. It's fine. You're not in a rush.
It works. It works. All I have to do is take one little step at a time, and I can do anything.
The whole point is you're getting used to this lifestyle so that you can maintain it in the future. Another way also to start with intermittent fasting, of course, shameless plug, is of course with fasting dice, right? So you can just roll the dice. It'll give you fasting windows. You can roll them as often or as frequently as you want. So they're definitely there. There's a link in the description for fasting dice, and definitely help you out. Personally, like I said, I've lost over 160 pounds in 10 months using this method, so I know it works. What is the most important part of intermittent fasting? Is it the weight loss? Is it the health improvement? Is it the fact that you're doing it? I would say the most important part is mindfulness. And when I say that, I mean listen to what's going on in your body. If you start feeling dizzy or weak, or you're feeling pretty rough, but it's not yet time for your window, might be time to end the fast a little bit early. And that's okay. There's no shame in that. You're building up your tolerance over time, so it's okay. Doesn't mean you go nuts and you're depressed. Now you're gonna go have junk food and candy and eat your feelings. It's not that. You eat healthy, nutritious stuff, and maybe it's a little bit early, but next time you try again. So that's the most important thing about intermittent fasting is the mindfulness. How much weight can I lose in a month with intermittent fasting? So this is the $1 million question. There's no magic number. I wish there was. There isn't. And there's a lot of factors at play to think about. So if you're somebody who weighs, 600 pounds and you intermittent fast for a month, who knows? You could lose a lot of weight. You could lose, 50, 70, 100 pounds. I don't know. There's metabolism. There's what you eat during your feeding periods. There's a lot of factors in there. So to say you can lose this much in a month, I don't know. I know for me, especially in the beginning, because I was much larger, I would see bigger drops initially. I'm still seeing pretty good sized drops, a lot faster than most people, but it's not what it was. And that's because as you get smaller, the number on the scale, it's proportional to your body weight, right? So think about it as percentages. If you're 600 pounds and you lose 3 pounds, that's not even 1%. But if you're 200 pounds and you lose 3 pounds, it's pretty good. So you have to think of it in those terms. It's in relation to your current body weight. So how much can you lose in a month? Significant amount of body percentage if that's what you go for. So bear that in mind. Don't think about the actual numbers. Think about percentages. Also use Taylor's tape. Measure your body, because sometimes the scale doesn't move for a little bit, right? And that's frustrating, especially when you're fasting. You're like, literally, I'm not eating. What's going on?
It's frustrating. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. Can you get the hell off of me?
Hey!
So the Taylor's tape will help you see what's really going on with your body. Like, your body is actually shrinking, and sometimes the muscle weighs more than the fat. So there's that aspect of it. So the Taylor's tape is definitely going to guide you in the actual direction. The scale is more just big picture what's going on. What's not allowed during intermittent fasting? All right. So again, this is kind of it goes back to diet and it goes back to goals and everything. For myself, while I'm fasting, I allow myself to have coffee. I have cold brew because I like cold brew better than I like hot coffee, but to each their own. I will put a splash of almond milk in it, and I will put a little bit of stevia, and that's my coffee. It's pretty good. It's very tasty, and I'm fairly convinced that the almond milk helps with a little bit of that satiety, and I think it's under 30, or it's like 30 calories or 35 calories for 8 ounces of almond milk, and so that technically doesn't break a fast, so that's kind of cool. Plus the coffee, so like I feel like I'm doing pretty good, and I got my my latte, very equivalent to like a Starbucks or something like that. And it's working out pretty good for me. Sometimes I'll make some iced teas, and I'll put just a little bit of stevia in that if I'm really jonesing for something. But mainly I just have water. That kind of stuff is what I would stick to with intermittent fasting. If you're in the fasting portion of your fast, yeah, I would stay away from anything packaged, any like a diet soda or a diet sports drink. I would stay away from those things personally, or even like the little powders you put in water that flavor the water. I would stay away from that too. It's got the artificial sweeteners that make it harder to maintain your fast for a long time. So you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot, right? You want success. So why make it harder on yourself?
You can do it!
Last common question that comes up. Is it okay to do intermittent fasting every day? I mean, I've been at it for 10 months, and I've done blood work several times now with doctors in those 10 months, and all of my blood work looks amazing. It's never looked better. So yeah, you can. Of course, talk to your doctor, find out what's going on. Everybody's different, but I mean, I've seen nothing but great things by fasting every day. Do I have a cheat every now and then? Yeah, sure, I'm human. Yeah, I plan them. I don't just do them. I do plan my cheats, and that's helpful. But yeah, you can fast every day. So that's the first set of questions. We're going to do a part 2 later, and we'll have some more questions. Follow us on social media, Fasting Dice. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. If you have a question, submit it, and I'll answer your questions in the next video. Thank you so much for taking the time. If you're interested, Fasting Dice definitely has helped me. It helps change up my fasting windows regularly, and which helps with body confusion, so that your body doesn't get used to certain fasting windows and prevents stagnation. So definitely a great bonus, and is a great tool that I recommend.